There's a lot of best of and broad analysis of units for the Horus Heresy. I wanted to point out some interesting combinations that I've noticed that I think bear mentioning. I wanted to look at some of the weird and interesting combinations that I think can synergize outside the standard playstyle in Horus Heresy. If there's interest in this type of video, I'll try and do a series of these. So, let's talk about the Humble Scout Squad. I can already hear people clicking the back button and rolling their eyes. People don't play Space Marines to play dudes in carapace armor. They want power armor wielding transhuman killing machines, not their kid brothers who sneak around in the bushes playing hide and go seek, right? At first glance, there's not really much impressive about Scout Marines in the Legacy rulebook. They're 1 wound each with a 4+ save. Their sergeant bumps them to leadership 8. They're 1 attack each, other than the sergeant. They just don't look like much. I came about looking at them in combos with them in a roundabout way. I played Space Wolves in 40k since the old days of 3rd edition, and for a long time I've had Wolf Scouts who are like normal Scouts on roids. And it got me thinking about these Wolf Scouts that I might be able to do something with. So I took a look at the datasheet. Infiltrate 9 is pretty useful. Move through cover isn't anything to sneeze at either, and unlike most support units, they have support 2, which means they cap out at scoring 2 points for being on an objective, when most support units cap out at 1. So if they're scoring a 2-point objective, they still get you full points. Lastly, these guys are light, which means they can rush 2 more inches and snapfire their weapons, and they're skirmish, which means they can space out further than most units. More interestingly to me, you can swap out their bolters for Nemesis bolters, chainswords, or shotguns. Now you can easily go the route of Sniper Scouts, they're pretty good at it, but I was actually thinking more going the Wolf Scout or similar route and going for bolt pistol and chainsword. Interestingly, the sergeants in the Scout Squad, unlike other sergeants, have a bonus attack, and they can also take a power weapon or power fist. 2 attacks with a power fist in a little 5-man team is a lot more interesting, plus you can take melta-bombs if you want to wreck an enemy vehicle. But let's take it a bit further, shall we? With Space Wolves specifically, you get 2 nice abilities. The first is the increased setup move, which means with their 9-inch infiltrate, they are pretty much guaranteed a turn 1 charge if you've got that first turn. The second is that any Space Wolf unit can swap a chainsword for a Fenrisian axe, which loses AP 5, darn, to gain Reaping Blow 1. On a small squad, that virtually guarantees that these guys will be having 2 attacks each. Will they kill off a dedicated combat unit by themselves? Absolutely not. But with infiltrate and their full move, plus 5-inch setup move, plus the 2d6 take the highest charge range, they absolutely should threaten any support units or even base tactical squads from turn 1 onward. And remember, even if they don't win combat, as long as they stay in combat, they prevent a line unit from scoring an objective. But wait, there's more. Because I had to look at the Pathfinder. This is essentially a Scout Centurion, with Weapon Skill and Ballistic Skill 5, Initiative 5, 3 wounds, Leadership 9, and other traits at 8, plus a 4+, 5++ save. He comes with access to the Legion Officer War Gear list and has Infiltrate 9 and Move Through Cover, along with Command, Light, and Skirmish, which means he goes perfectly in a Scout Squad. He can also take melta-bombs, which makes for a 6-model squad infiltrating 9 inches away from someone's vehicle line, moving up and dropping 2 sets of melta-bomb attacks on their vehicles. But why stop there? You can also give the Pathfinder a pair of lightning claws for 20 points, on a little guided missile unit that can absolutely shred a heavy weapon support squad or rapier battery. For 85 points, you get the Pathfinder with lightning claws and a melta-bomb, plus another 70 points for a scout squad, and 15 more points of upgrades for a power fist on the sergeant and melta-bombs. My inner instinct here is to lean in hard and go with 3 Pathfinders, each with a scout squad. The total is just over 500 points for some decently dangerous units that are going to be in the enemy lines, either blocking or fighting them from turn 1 onward, and that absolutely fits with the theme of the Space Wolves in my opinion. The crazy thing, of course, is that's not even the best army for this necessarily. The White Scars can arguably do this better with their +2 movement buff, which will allow them to move pretty much anywhere. Even better, they also have a dedicated scout unit, the Falcon's Claws, where all of them are armed with lightning claws. Now the Falcon Claws don't have infiltrate, they have outflank, but they come with base 2 attacks plus a pair of lightning claw attacks for 4 attacks each, with a squad of 5 costing 110 points versus the 85 for an upgraded scout squad. Having 2 or 3 of these 5-man blender units come in from outflank on turn 2 after having 3 units of scouts with pathfinders in the lines on turn 1 sounds really nasty to me. A number of other legions can also do this in interesting ways. The Emperor's Children getting +1 initiative on the charge, World Leaders swapping the chain swords for chain axes, and the Blood Angels getting a bonus strength on the charge. They all have their different ways of doing this. The 3 Pathfinder and 3 Scout Squad combo is about 1/6 of a 3,000 point army. More importantly, it uses critical recon slots, but it also paves the way to really throw off your enemy's plans on the first turn. If they're vehicle heavy, your scouts can focus on 1 or 2 transports and open them up with melta-bombs. If they're infantry heavy, you can send those squads in at their support or tactical units to tie them up and keep them busy. If you don't have first turn, their ability to spread out as skirmishers and their good movement means you can either deploy them to limit enemy movement or use their small squad size and move through cover to hide them behind terrain and use them as a counterattack. These units are not going to last very long with 4+ saves, but they aren't here to last long. They're there to move into a position to threaten enemy support units and scoring units, while the rest of your army scores you points and takes out the enemy's main threats. It's not a game-breaking combo, but it's an interesting set of combinations that you can do to have a surprising punch for relatively small units. I'd love to hear your thoughts on Scout Squads, Pathfinders, the crazy White Scars, Falcon Claws, and all the rest. That's all for now. Please like and subscribe, and thank you for watching.